Well, my name is Lawrence Horn. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1950. That makes me 59 years old. Basically, my drug addiction led me to be here, there, and everywhere. As a result of my drug addiction and being forced to live here, there, and everywhere, I found myself committing crimes. The elements of the street and what I saw was people actually living on the street and catching diseases, especially in the rainy season when it's cold. And I actually saw a guy's condition was so bad until he had maggots actually coming out of his legs from sores, from infections. And so living on the street and ripping and running every day and under the influence of drugs and not eating properly, what usually happens is like the body breaks down. And so people do need shelter. You know, at least maybe with some shelter they can have a chance to think and get themselves together. It's tedious. It's like living in hell. It's tedious. I mean, you're forced to do things that you wouldn't normally do. It's basically, you have to deal with the elements. People make cardboard boxes to shelter themselves from the rain. And after a period of time, people kind of adapt to the situation. That's why through adapting to the situation, you live with rats rolling all over you, and that's where disease set up. You know, a lot of disease-infested things set up. Then people have sex out on the streets, you know, because of the mind frame being messed up under the influence of drugs. So it's a pretty hectic way for a human being to have to live. And those who are together, you need to ask the question, am I my brother's keeper? You know, or we look at people and say, well, they just are the scum of the earth and we just gonna throw them away. And I mean, I think that we should be concerned. I know I am, because I was a part of that element. I'm cut from the same cloth. I remember coming down here around early 90s. I was on the run. I stole some dope from a dude and I came downtown and, you know, for shelter, you know, for refuge. And being down here was like, you know, like another world. You know, it was just a free fall. You know, you could just do pretty much what you wanted to do and live the way you want to live. You know, and you can sometimes, like I said, you get comfortable with that position. I just couldn't deal with sleeping in the tents. I just couldn't deal with that. And rather sleep in a tent, I'll rob you at knife point, because I was desperate. And I had to, at the time, at the time it might have cost about $30-something to get a room. And if I could get 20 here and 10 here, I'm gonna get me a room. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get me a room. Not necessarily mean that I'm a bad fella and I got a lot of hatred and animosity in my heart towards you, and I hate you and I wanna hurt you, but out of desperation and fear, I did what I had to do. And confusion, being confused, not being directed in the proper way in my mind, and my emotions just taking control of my mind, being just outright confused. I had to have it at any cost. I needed a room. I couldn't sleep on them streets. Yes, people are turned away, and especially in the wintertime, it's almost like sleeping in the streets, because people, they're so congested and packed in. You follow what I'm saying? And then people come in, they haven't been taking showers for maybe 5 or 6 days at a time. So what you got is bacteria, unsanitation. I mean, you know, people are not, their hygiene is bad. That's what I mean. And so that means that germs and things set up. People being packed in a big old place, you know what I mean, all together, sleeping on top of each other and things like that in them cots. You know, I mean, we need other facilities for the homeless. And a country like this and people being human beings, you can't tell me that can't be done. What did your Creator create you for? I think the question that we need to ask ourselves, what are we created on this earth for? We need to really ask ourselves that. Are we so high-minded until we forget that there are people in need, and those people in need that we help will go forth and help other people? And more so because they know what it is. I feel compassionate about what I'm doing right now, because thank God that I'm in a position to talk to you today the way I'm talking to you, because He lifted me from that. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to live like that anymore. My mind is renewed. I don't have to think like that anymore. Why? Because somebody helped me. Somebody helped me to get out of that position. And so I think that we should consider that what are we created for?